All right, so I wanted to do a quick update on the garden, or what's left of it, our little fall garden. I planted some beets, two different kinds, some regular red beets, I think they're Red Bull beets, maybe? And then I had a package of colored beets that I put in. Haven't grown those before. Let's see, radish, kale, butter crunch lettuce, red cabbage, green cabbage, and peas. So let's go take a look and see what's going on with that stuff. So here's this is an 8 by 4 foot wood box that I built last year before I built the big boxes. But the beets are really looking good. I'm happy with the way they've come up. I've never planted anything this late in the season. I put these in maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember the exact date that I put them in, but we're at mid-September now, and the beets are doing, I think, the best out of anything. Got some weeds in here too that I need to pull, but some has really been eaten away at the tops of these radishes. But you got some popping up. Yeah, got some popping up out of the ground there. I've already pulled a couple, and looks like I've got a couple more in here to pull. I don't know what's eating the tops of them. Some kind of bug, for sure. Like, here we go. I think this one's ready. Here we go. Nice little radish there. And I think sometime this week, probably most of these will be ready to pull out. I only planted a few. But I'm going to try roasting some today with that kabocha squash. So we'll see how that tastes. I've never had roasted radishes before, so we'll see how that turns out. This is the bed with the kale, the cabbage, and the lettuce in it. I put a cover over it because something got in here and just was completely stripping my kale, which I'll show you. I don't think I'm going to get much out of here. But look at that. All the leaves gone. All I got left is stems. I thought by planting them late like this, I'd be good. So, but it's completely shaved off the top. Now this, I don't think, well, maybe it is a bug, because I covered this, when I first covered this, only one row had this, and the other 2 rows still had a lot of leaves. So something got in there before I could cover it up. Might be those cabbage moths. Probably waited too long. But I got some lettuce back in there, just a few little leaves. Get these weeds out of here. But the butter crunch lettuce is looking pretty good, the little bit that I have. Then we got red cabbage here. Something's eating all this too. Man, that makes me angry. I thought with them being so small, with covering them, they would do okay. But man, you must have to like cover these immediately. And we did have a lot of cabbage moths out here when I first planted these, and even the first week that they were coming up or so. So maybe something got in here. I didn't think they'd get in there until they got bigger. Tomatoes are pretty much done. But I mean, we still have stuff coming in. They're just, the vines and everything are dying off. But you can see we got the blueberry variety that still has some coming in. I gotta pick some today. The subarctics are going crazy. There's just a whole slew right in here. A lot of them have split from the rain because I haven't really kept up with them recently because we have so many inside in the freezer that I need to get to. And then grown up through from the other side, got a whole bunch of little poblanos in here. I'm gonna try fermenting those and making a green poblano sauce, and maybe add either some tomatillos or green tomatoes along with some garlic, onion. See if I can't get a good fermented sauce going on. One of my jalapeno plants died, and I pulled that out because it was looking pretty ratty, but you can see back in there, I actually have 5 more jalapenos that have come in on that plant that I need to get in there and pick because they're yellow and ripe now. Poor dead sunflower. But you see the vines are all dying off here on the tomatoes, but there's a lot of red ones, a lot of green ones still in there. Eventually I'll get in here and clean this all out. But while I'm still getting ripe ones, I don't want to pull them out quite yet. And I want to pick some of the green ones too, like I said, to make the tomatillo, or not tomatillo, the green fermented sauce. So we'll see how that turns out. This here is our one moringa plant that survived the transplanting. It's really tall and skinny because it's growing out of a pot. And we got to get this transplanted and see if it'll survive over winter. My peas, something else, and I think this might be rabbits because you see these peas have just been gnawed off down at the edge, but I've got a couple here that, you know, so far are surviving and popping up. But this one end, something's gotten in there and is really eating them. So I don't know if I'm gonna get any peas. It was the first time I ever planted peas in the fall and not in the spring. So it was just a test. So if I get some, that would be awesome. If not, well then, you know, it's whatever. I have so many pea seeds that it doesn't really matter if they don't quite make it. The end of the cucamelons. We're all done picking those. We pickled some of the cucamelons and actually sold about 8 jars of them. So selling 8 jars actually made our money back on what we spent to make them. So we came out even on the cucamelons. This is the elderberry, and as you can see, there's only like a couple little berries in here. But this was all full this morning, and Mitzi came out and picked them, and she has started a jar of tincture with the one set of berries that we did get. There was a few other sets in here, but the birds got them. But you know, there wasn't very many to begin with on these 2 plants. There was a few flowers that produced some berries, and it's the first year that we planted them, and they've grown quite a bit since spring when we put them in. So we're pleased with you know, growth from the first year. So all right, so that's really it for the garden. You know, most stuff's done. Oh, one more quick thing. Check this out. Look at all the flowers in here on these nasturtiums. Now these were supposed to get like really big, and the ones in here that started off really good just kind of never did a whole lot. There's a couple little flowers in there, but this was like a seed or 2 that fell out, I guess, when I was planting them and fell outside the box, and those have done the best. Maybe because there's more sun in that spot than there is over here, where the shade from the tree kind of ends over top of this. This area stays fairly shaded most of the time. But our, you know, we had oregano and a cilantro in there. That's cilantro here. It's getting all the little seeds coming on right here. Oh, and look, a big praying mantis. Look at that guy. Hey, mister. That's pretty cool. So we'll see if I can maybe harvest some of these seeds. I've never harvested and saved cilantro seeds, but I think they've got to not be green. There is some brown ones in there, but I need to look that up and see exactly what I need to do if I'm going to get any before they fall off and start growing again. Really happy to see that praying mantis in there. You know, they eat a lot of bad bugs, and one thing I've noticed this year is that our flower beds have become really overgrown with weeds and a lot of other stuff. We got goldenrod coming up, pokeberries, and anyway, there's a lot of wild, natural, local. I guess some of it's local, some of it's probably invasive stuff. But the cool thing is that letting those flower beds just kind of overgrow is that we've had more hummingbirds. We had a hummingbird nest back in there with a pair that were flying all around the yard. We have seen a ton of praying mantis this year, and I think by letting some of this, you know, the flower beds and stuff go natural, it's attracted some more of the good stuff that we want around. So maybe it's not always so good to have the properly perfect manicured, you know, flower bed. Not that ours normally are. You know, we do it like once or twice a year, and then but this year I've weeded in the spring and put in some mulch and haven't done anything since, and they just all became overgrown. I need to clean them out, but in the process we got some good stuff out of it. So speaking of stuff letting grow wild, this vine grows up in this area of our garden fence by the gate every year, and it gets these berries on them, these little red berries. And before the berries come in, you get these little purple and yellow flowers. The bees love these. We've always got bumblebees. Of course, not right now because it's a cool, windy day, but throughout earlier in the season, we get these bumblebees all through here. Oh, there's one right there. He's up there on the flower. Speak of the bee. You see him? All right, so anyway, this is nightshade, sweet nightshade. I forget the exact name, but it's something. It's in the nightshade family. It's considered an invasive species. It's originally from Europe, but you know, it's come over here across the pond to the U.S. and it will take over. I pull this out every year and try to get it cleaned out because it'll just keep, you know, taking over the spot. But I kind of like this little area where it covers right by the fence, and so I looked it up this year and found out what it was. So yeah, nightshade, a type of nightshade. So this would be in the same family as like your potatoes and eggplant and tomatoes and such. And one thing I did notice, which I don't know if you can see here. Remember I did the little video earlier this year on potato bugs and how potato bugs like items in the nightshade family. Here we got potato bugs get up on here and eat the leaves. So they can eat this nightshade all they want as long as they're staying off of my eggplant and other stuff. So, all right, so that was a quick update on the garden. A little bit of fall garden that we did. This was our first year trying this, so it's you know, small attempt and just doing some test stuff. But now I gotta go do some yard work, some mowing and weed whacking, and gotta pick some tomatoes. I got some vegetables I want to roast in the oven with that kabocha squash. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so if I'm wrong, I apologize. All right, so that's it. So hope you guys have had a great summer season with your gardens and with your homesteads and your chickens or whatever it is that you're doing. Even if you're just growing a tomato on the pot on your balcony, you know, whatever you did, I hope it came out well and you got some good stuff, and I hope you try some new things in the future, and I hope you keep checking out our videos and following us. So we'll see you soon with some more updates. Have a great day. Namaste.